My name's Ron, and you are on one of Ronnie's road trips. Well, we're out here at Sweet Strawberry Runners Farm, Border Ranges. This is the last sort of machine that we've been able to review, and you guessed it, we've left the absolute best to last. You won't believe it, 1957 Cat D7 17A cable blade dozer, which started its life off as an ag tractor. This is an absolute classic. Come with us, we're going to give it a little bit of a workout. This is in only regrowth country, so we're not pushing massive big trees down or anything like that. Nice little tidy push, but I'll tell you what, this is in the granite country. Underneath all of this, we've still got the granite boulders. There is not one day that this machine gets an easy day off. It's a daily driver, unbelievable, mint condition, been rebuilt a couple of times. Come with us, we'll show you how the old blokes in the olden times done it, and I'll tell you what, they worked. Well, I'll tell you what, boys, there's one thing I'll guarantee you, that if you put your bum in one of these, you're going to get dirty. No cab, no air conditioning, no radio, so therefore just wiped out about 90% of the aspiring dozer operators in Australia. For the rest of you that are interested and still want to keep following it, this is how it was done. Over here, mate, we've got the clutch, and you've got to pull it hard, one way or the other. Here we've got two steering clutches, brakes down on the floor, left, and over here, right. Not much different than the centre console mounted ones in later dozers. Here we've got the hand throttle. This here only runs at around about 1200 revs. Unbelievable, and lug all day. Over in here, we've got gears, 5-speed gearbox, forward and back, and we've got forward and reverse. All here, all engaged with the clutch, so you know, it's not much different than driving a truck. No steering wheel, just these. But I'll tell you what, until you sat your bum in them, you don't know what you're missing. I'm telling you, this is really good fun. Electric start, of course. Now, originally this would have had a pilot motor on it, which meant that it was petrol start, crank her up, fire, engage the clutch, that would then start the engine. And when you couldn't start that pilot motor, you never worked for the day. And it's frustrating as hell. The boys here, the sweet boys, they said that's no good, pull the whole lot of it out, 24 volt, everything, starter motor, alternator, batteries, bang, direct ignition. Fantastic. The seat, not original of course. I think originally they might have had more like a captain's chair, but this is a lot newer, a lot more comfortable. The boys done a good job. Over here, this is where you engage your cable drum at the back. It operates a winch, spins the winch, actually runs straight down through, around the side here, onto the cable, onto the blade. That will hoist the blade up, and she's just gravity feed drop. So when you drop her down, bang, she'll just hit the ground. You won't believe it. 4-cylinder Cat diesel, over 13 litres. Runs at around about that 1200 revs, as I said before, and will lug all day. It's incredible. You can see down in here, mate, we've got the two 12-volt batteries, which is all hooked up to 24 volt. We're talking about a few things before about how much dust the operators get. If you think you just drive, you know, with the wind behind you, don't worry about it. It's a sucker fan. So all it does is just suck the dust up and blow it straight over you. Cat thought of everything in those days, just to make sure that you've got warm in winter, and when you're in Australia, you've got dusted lungs. Well, I know a few things that have been modified on this old dozer. Segmented drive sprockets. Originally they would have been just a one complete unit. These are segmented, these are new, and of course they fit. Seal rollers on these, ideal. Same thing on the bottom. Nice good track guards. Rebuilt track plates. Other than that, mate, it's pretty good. This has been rebuilt in about 2015, I think was the last time it was rebuilt, and it's been rebuilt a few times. Every single nut and bolt has been pulled off this and replaced, all renewed. Fantastic job. This old dozer, even at 13.9 litres and 4-cylinder diesel, still pushes out in excess of 100 horsepower, which doesn't seem much these days, but in those days that was top of the range. Other modification to the dozer, of course, is that this originally was an ag tractor. Of course, then she got modified. She had just a conventional cat blade on it. The boys have modified everything here, mate, and they've home built this root rake, which in my opinion is absolutely fantastic. Everything's gusseted, really good job have been done in the workshop out here with the boys, and then of course the tree pusher, which is also included onto this dozer here. 2 modifications, but for this application out here in the granite belt and on the farm, an absolute necessity. Well, the boys made a nice little tidy tree pusher for the old 7. Of course, those that don't understand what a tree pusher is used for, what happens here is as soon as you get up to a tree that's a little bit big that you can't push with the blade, lift your blade up, push it halfway up the tree, edge your way in. As it starts to fall, make sure you get back as quick as you possibly can, otherwise the butt of the tree will come back underneath your dozer and it can sort of sit you there belly up, can't get any traction. But this is a good little job. This is where she ties into the butt of the tree. As you push it over, knock it down, push her up with the dozer, with the blade. Good job. Well, there you have it. 1957. Do you know, sliced bread wasn't even out in 1957. TV only come into Australia about 1956, and colour TV was like 1976. This is how far we're going back. Sliced bread wasn't even here. Just goes to show that when you've got some good old gear, and especially some of this old cat gear, I said it always built to be rebuilt. Those are like this. Over 20,000 hours, been rebuilt 2 or 3 times. Still get parts for it. Unbelievable. Few modifications, of course. Pilot motor now is gone. Direct ignition. That had to be. That's a must. You know. Drive sprockets were a single piece before. Now they're segmented. But still get parts for it. The Dozer tracks, homemade blade, tree pusher, rake, 1200 revs. Unbelievable. I'll tell you what. This was more of a nostalgic return to not quite my childhood, but late teens anyway. And this has just taken me back. It's a nostalgic trip. Not necessarily a full review, but I needed to bring this to you because the guys out here, the sweet boys, have done a magnificent job. If it was mine, I'd be putting it in a museum. But as they said, whether we got dogs or dozers, they've got to earn their keep on this farm. And this is no different. Daily driver, every single day. The boys hop on it, do something with it. And the amount of work it's done for this farm is incredible. Boys, I hope you enjoyed it. Unless you've been here, smelt it, started it, touched it, grabbed those steering clutches and pulled it around the paddock, you won't appreciate what you're missing. Hope you've enjoyed this, boys. Got more coming for you.